Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and you probably heard the establishment shove the second wave thing down your throat for quite some time now. It's all over the news, this idea of a second wave. It's more reason that you can't be selfish and try to feed your family. You gotta stay inside for the foreseeable future. And we are seeing those stories really come to fruition now with stories like this. As this NBC News article says, hundreds of villages locked down in northeastern China after fresh coronavirus outbreak. Or this article out of The Guardian that says, China puts city of Shulan under Wuhan-style lockdown after fresh COVID-19 cases. Before I get into this news today, which is quite extensive, by the way, I want to make sure that you guys hit the like button below and join us on Flote and BitChute now. Seriously, guys, we are done on YouTube. We are demonetized. We have very few days left here on YouTube, and we need you guys to go elsewhere, as well as help us out any way you can by pledging, GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. All of it makes a huge difference in keeping this information war alive. But anyway, let's get into this article out of the Daily Mail. As it says, fears of new coronavirus outbreak in Chinese region of 100 million people after two cities went into Wuhan-style lockdown. And as the article goes into, fears have raised that an outbreak could erupt in Dongbei in China's northeast. More than 5 million residents in two cities in Jilin province are under lockdown. The cities of Shulan and Jilin have set up COVID-19 hospitals to isolate patients. Shulan officials said they will severely punish those who break quarantine rules. Of course, it's China. And continuing on here, it says, comes as Wuhan reported new infection today after recording 6 on May 10th. And by the way, they are shutting down this massive area due to about 35 cases, so they say. 35 cases out of 100 million people? Seriously, guys, are we that stupid that we're going to walk straight into this trap? And it is a trap. And I'll explain. China has been faking numbers since the beginning. The US has been faking numbers from the beginning, but China has a lot to gain from this. Talk about a massive global takeover. This bankrupts the West more than it bankrupts China at the end of the day. It gives China unprecedented power with the World Health Organization, funded by Bill Gates, who also funds Fauci, who is working in Wuhan, China, with his Institute of Allergies and Infectious Diseases at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where he got millions of dollars in grants from 2015 into 2019 to study coronavirus in bats, which was 96% similar to the novel coronavirus, where in the study they studied how they can spread the virus to humans. And now they are using children as a way to pull on people's heartstrings more. As you could see out of this article from a few days ago, coronavirus, what is Kawasaki disease and its possible link with COVID-19 in children? And they are already pulling this BS where they are saying children are getting infections on their tongues, etc. from a virus. Now, this is a clear sign of a bioweapon, by the way. When you have all of these weird side effects coming from one virus that is not natural, that is not normal, that is not scientific, this is evidence, again, as people, bioweapon experts claim. This is exact evidence, precise evidence of a bioweapon. Now, we have to remember the perfect scenario here that I've gone over in past videos is that they start using children as a way to make people stay inside, be subservient, and lock themselves in their kennels while we see the biggest global power grab in the history of the world. Think about it this way. They finally let people out of their kennels for a little while. They say, hey, you guys are no longer selfish for wanting to go outside and feed your family, so go ahead, go work, go, try and stop yourself from starving to death. And then people go outside, they go to the beach, they go to all these places, and then they come in with a second wave and say, see, it's your fault because you're selfish, you want to feed your family, and now you're spreading it not just to grandma, but to kids. And then even more people are subservient, even more people take the knee, even more people end up going bankrupt under the guise of helping save the children. This is the perfect, guys, my friends, this is a perfect scenario to prolong this insanity, is to just come in with a second wave just in the eye of the storm. And I believe we are in the eye of the storm, my friends. And a great example is how in Texas they reopen, and literally within 14 hours of Texas reopening, there's articles coming out saying thousands of new coronavirus cases. And idiots who have no idea how viruses spread go, oh my God, look at these selfish idiots that go outside that are spreading it, and now it's going to children and it's going to kill my kids. And I mean, 14 hours isn't a long enough incubation period, you morons. Of course, I'm not talking to you guys that are watching. I'm just so sick of this because it's not scientific at all. Literally, these news articles from major publications are actually fooling people by saying that people are getting coronavirus within hours of opening it. Like, that makes any sense at all. No, it doesn't. It makes zero sense. And to make that claim just shows how little people really know and how much they just do the repeat after me bullshit from the mainstream media. And carrying on, I mean, we have a lot of examples of places like, well, Italy, Greece, the country of Georgia, opening for tourists. This says EU tourists in early June, but they expect by the middle of June or end of June, international tourists will be able to go to places like Italy. And this fits perfectly into the scenario I'm talking about. We are going to end up seeing the doors open, people go outside, and then be blamed for spreading the virus. And they'll be pushed further back inside. They'll come out, like they've been saying, you will not be able to leave your house without contact tracing. So they'll track every move you make, every person you talk to, every transaction you make, full technocracy. Then they'll utilize ID 2020 to force vaccinate everyone. And if you don't take the vaccine, then you can't eat at restaurants, you can't travel. It's exactly like China's social credit, exactly as I expected this to elapse. And then on top of that, you have, a global depression. You have people, military in the streets. You have a police state. You're not allowed to go outside. You have Karen tattling on you for walking your dog. You have just an absolute nanny police state out of Black Mirror. Seriously, that's where we're headed right now. If we continue this and we buy this stuff, this is why I'm trying to speak out here. We need to make sure people understand this information and hear this information, because this is extremely dangerous, because way more people are going to die from the shutdowns than the virus itself. By freaking far. I mean, we're talking a global depression. We're talking millions without work, 30% unemployment in the U.S., and that's conservative. I think it's probably closer to 45 at this point if you counter in the labor force participation rate. Everyone's out of work, and then they'll get to go back to their job for a couple months at the most, and then they'll utilize winter to respread the bioweapon and use children as a way to say, see, you're killing kids, and then everyone's going to go back into their home and then accept the mark, so to say. Despite the fact that Bill Gates himself is saying that the shutdowns will kill more people than the virus itself, he still says we need the shutdowns. I don't know why all these epidemiologists, all these immunologists, all these virologists are speaking out and saying this is nonsense, and then they get censored. For years we're all told you have to only listen to the scientific community. But now, instead of them, they get censored. No, we have to listen to a Swedish little girl and a computer nerd from the 70s. I mean, if that's not insanity, I don't know what is. And all the while we have institutions like, the United Nations still saying we need to continue lockdowns. We see that in New York City as well. We see that in LA County. And all the while, we have stats like this. Non-lockdown versus lockdown. Deaths per million in non-lockdown countries in green. Deaths per million in lockdown countries in red. And of all the non-lockdown countries, Sweden has the most deaths per million, which I think it's disingenuous for the media to just focus on them when you have countries like Taiwan, you have South Korea, you have Japan, you have Mexico. Mexico, where I am right now, has 14 to 1 million deaths, and it's a non-lockdown country. 0.3 deaths per million in Taiwan, 5 deaths per million in South Korea, 3 deaths per million in Japan, 10 deaths per million in Belarus, 29 deaths per million in Iceland, 256 deaths per million in Sweden. But then you look at Belgium, 665 deaths per million. You look at Spain, 525 deaths per million. Italy, 483 deaths per million. USA, 193 deaths per million. These are lockdown countries. And it's clear that the social distancing doesn't work. It's pseudoscience. And also, when you can cough and it can spread like within 40 feet, then what is 6 feet doing anyway? This is ridiculous. We need this to end. We need it to end now. And it's propping up major monopolies while destroying small businesses, forcing people into starvation, which causes another health crisis. And all based on original stats out of China that said we would see 3.5 to 7% death tolls, and now it's 0.08% to 0.2%. Where are the riots? Where is the rebellion? Anyway, I'm going to continue to report on this news as we do see a massive area in China shut down, and a lot of people fear-mongering about it, including some people in independent media who I will not name, and I'm sick of it. This could easily lead to millions of deaths, not by the virus, but by the fear of the state to force people into subservience and poverty. Anyway, I appreciate everyone watching. Make sure to hit the like button, share on social media because of our massive shadow banning here on this channel and because we're demonetized. Make sure to check the links below. Join our new newsletter at www.iambanned.com. All you have to do is send in an email. We really appreciate it, guys. And also, join us on flote.app, flote.app, as well as BitChute at World Alternative Media. We need you guys there now more than ever. Check those links. It's all linked below, as well as Bitcoin. Anyway, this is insane, and it's not about not trusting China. It's about not trusting any government. The U.S. is probably involved at Fort Detrick. China is definitely involved at Wuhan, and they're working together, and it benefits all countries worldwide to have more power, and that's what they're utilizing. They don't let a crisis go to waste. See you guys next time. This is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon, Subscribestar. We really can't do it without you. We've been so insanely shadow banned, about 90% at this point, and 95% demonetized. As Susan Wojcicki, the CEO of YouTube, comes in and says that she is shutting down quote-unquote controversial content and cutting out the views on this controversial content by 70%. She's been bragging about it. We need your help more than ever in this battle for truth in information. You guys are what keeps us alive, so we really appreciate just even $1 a month makes a huge difference. If everyone could give just $1 a month, we wouldn't even have to worry about competing against the mainstream propaganda networks. You can also donate to our Bitcoin address on the screen for you to scan if you please, as well as in the comments and description. Liking and sharing makes a big difference as well, and finding us on alternative social media platforms like flote.app, that's flote.app, makes a huge difference. We're at Josh Sigurdson as well as at Wham. Flote is replacing Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Reddit, and Patreon all in one with encrypted private messaging, and of course monetization on videos for creators, live streams with super chats in crypto, and most of all, no algorithm, because at the end of the day, it's all about reach, guys. This is all about actually reaching people with the message and waking up the public. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, Minds, BitChute, all sorts of different platforms. Try to follow us on as many things as possible, because very soon this channel will very likely just be completely deleted from YouTube, and you'll never see us again, and you'll be stuck with only the mainstream networks. Also, come on out and see us at Anarcho Vegas 2020 in Las Vegas, Nevada in July, where such speakers such as G. Edward Griffin and many others will be speaking. You could use promo code WHAM on your VIP tickets and save 10%, as well as buy extremely cheap tickets for just $20.20. You won't find a cheaper conference than this with such amazing names. Check anarchovegas.com for more information on that. We hope to see you out there. And anyway, I really appreciate all of you guys joining us. You make it possible for us to survive in this volatile, propagandized climate. Until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media.
Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.